If you watch until the end, you'll see some more photos of the finished product.
Hi, my name is Clem from Visual Artisan. I just wanted to show everybody the barn that we just finished. It's a wedding venue, and what we did is this woodcrete, call it concrete, that looks like wood planks, weathered wood planks. So come on by. As you can see, we just finished. It's a 3,200 square feet barn, and if you can look in here, this is about an 1/8 of an inch thick micro topping that we ended up doing a texture and hand painted every single one, hand done every single plank where it has the texture to it. And the interior designer, this is the color she wanted. So if you look over here, not only come over here, they have the baseboards. The baseboards are wooden, they call it like a trail trusses type of deal. We made it look old. That's all hand done with the dark wood in order to kind of blend in with the doors. So that's all concrete to make it look like a weathered log or the trail trusses. If you like this video, press like. Please share it. Visualartisan.net. That's visualartisan.net. Spread it to all your friends and family. Let them know. I do all over Florida. In fact, I even travel to the Bahamas, wherever you guys need. So if you're interested in a quote, let me know. All right, so thank you, and don't forget to press like and share it with your friends. From Visual Artisan, we're doing a vertical stamping for a barn. Sometimes when we do some stamping and all that, there might be some defects where the concrete didn't, like we missed an area. So what we've done, we enhanced, for example here, we decided to make it into a knot. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of like hit it a little bit like this. It's already round. I started already. And then you just kind of go with this blade, curve, and into a point. Just curve it into a point. And you do like this, into a point, and then you go the other way. So you're making knots that trees already has, but you got to remember to make it into a point and a slight curve. A slight curve, and then all of a sudden you got a knot. And then we'll enhance it with color by adding a highlight color there, like red or burgundy. And then we'll do the espresso or kayak in order to highlight. What we're doing here is called woodcrete, and here we're going to do some staining techniques to make it look like real wood. Let me show you what we do here. If you look around, we're making this is concrete to look like wood, but I'm going to show you a technique. You can see this one here that we did that has like a little veining right across the middle, almost looks like a split. So you can see right there how that veining looks. Now let's show you. Right here, we did a base coat. On this plank here, we did a base coat first. We let it dry. We didn't paint the whole thing so like that other colors can grasp and not be real deep. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this color called espresso. And I'm going to put it over the whole thing. We want to make sure we get to the edges here. And that crack, we need to make sure the stain gets in there. Because once you seal it, it's kind of hard for the sealer to get in there to turn that color. So we kind of help it by coloring it first. So now that we got it all covered, now is when the fun part begins. You take this tray, set it to the side. We don't want to dump this anymore. So what we'll do is we'll start playing with it by dragging it. So as you can see, I'm going to start pulling the ink in one direction. And then soften it up. So see, now it's giving me like that vein. I'm going to do another vein here.
I don't want it too straight or too curvy.
When that dries up with a nice little vein going through it. There's a couple of brush marks. I'm going to go ahead and soften it up like this. See this brush mark, brush mark, brush mark. Soften it up. And voila. Thank you. Now is show you how we do the base coat first in order to give it some depth. So here we got white concrete, it's got some texture. So we're going to be using this Kodiak and Kayak, and it's going to be sporadic with some white spots and all that. Check this out. So right now we're going to use Kodiak. We want to stir the pigment in the bottom. And what we want to do is make sure you get the edges. Don't let that dry, so you want to kind of feather that out a little bit. You want to get that crack, because if we don't get that crack now, it's going to be hard once you seal it. You're going to see white in there. So notice I'm not painting the whole thing. Now I'm going to swap this over. I want my color to be close to here, so I don't want my stain falling over here. I'm stirring up the bottom a little bit to get some more of that dye that's settled. So it's kind of like sporadic. I'm not painting the whole thing. Some of it I'm skipping because like that, when you put the final coat on there, it'll be darker in those areas. What you don't want to do is leave it into like that. You don't want to leave that. That's not good. You want to make sure that it goes in a nice flow. So what's going to happen is, because this is a huge job, I'm not going to be the one staining the final coat on this. We have quite a few guys, there's about 7 of us. So everybody does one part and then we swap. We keep swapping. So I may do the base coat and then I'll do somebody else's final coat. So I'm doing the base coat here, somebody else is going to come and do the final coat on this one. But as you can see, I'm changing it. So that was a Kayak. Now I'm going to swap it around and go to Kodiak.
So I leave some areas blank or white concrete, so like that, the darker stains can show off a little bit better. So you don't want to cover the whole area, so leave some areas blank, and so like that you can have some highlights. Now I have this rag here, it's kind of damp, So like that, I can go ahead and clean whatever areas that's necessary. So it's good to have a nice damp rag. But make sure you get the edges, because when you put the sealer in, like that, it hides any white spots that's available there.
May not look much, but wait till it's done. Some of these hard edges, I'm going to wipe a little bit. Boom. So what we'll do is, we'll come back and show you the final look that somebody else will be taking care of it. We'll actually record what these other guys will do on this. Woodcrete is concrete, it looks like wood. We have already did the base coat, and then we did what we call the money coat, or the top coat that looks like wood grain by using a pool trowel, and it gives it this great look. Now, earlier I showed you that I did the base coat on this with the stain, the first coat, and I kind of skipped around, as you can see. Now we have Gabe. Gabe is going to be going by the plank that I did, so we swap around. So he's going to be doing espresso, and he's doing the final coat on this. And as you can see, he's taking the espresso and just rubbing it on. And what you want to make sure is you rub it on. What you want to make sure is that you rub it on the direction of the grain. You don't want to cross. It just doesn't look good. So you want to go to the direction of the grain. The good thing that we have here is if you look up, the ceiling has a lot of examples that we can look at in regards to pattern. Some of them have white on the edges and dark in the middle. Some have dark in the edges and light in the middle. So it gives us a lot of great ideas. So here, as you can see, how it's dark there and light on one side. But the good thing is that once he applies it and waits for a little bit, he can still manipulate the colors and make it look unique. So if you look at this one plank here, how cool this looks. You've got this one veining going here, it's light. Then you got like almost like a seam or crack. Then you got dark color here with the light. And it just it's a unique plank. It becomes one of a kind. And that's what's happening. These are all one of a kind. So the one thing he wants to make sure when he does this is that there's no little white dots. So that's why he goes back and forward. Once he applies that one coat, then he can come back and agitate that dye, that pigment, in order to move it the way he wants it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pause it for now, let him catch up to this plank, and then we'll get the video back on again. Alright, so Dave is almost finishing here. So now what he's going to do is we'll take a little bit of black and do a highlight over here. So how about we do that? So, the reason we want to do it first is we want to give it a little chance to dry in, and then he's going to manipulate it. From there to here. Oh. So, notice that he's following already a groove. It's the texture that we did earlier, so you can use the groove. Okay, so now he's going to go back, let this dry up a little bit, and then he's going to go ahead and finish this part up. So you can see, without doing anything at all, look at the different tones that this wood is getting. It looks so real, and that's what you want. Now remember, it's going to dry up a little bit lighter, but then once we seal it, it'll darken just a tiny bit. We're going to do a satin finish to this whole part that is going to look very realistic.
So again, he's hitting the edges just to make sure you get in that groove and that crack. If you don't do that, when you put the sealer, you're gonna wish you did it while you were staining. Trust me, I've been there, where you have to go back and hit it with color before you seal it. So now is the time to do this. So the thing you have to remember is you gotta share your techniques and all that, because everybody brings something to the table. So would I do it this way? Maybe, maybe not. He's got a unique style, I got a unique style, and by everybody, that's what makes the plank so unique. Now, one thing is you don't want black soles. At this point, no black soles will give you markings. So you can go in your socks, or you wear some booties, but the booties, you gotta make sure they're the more expensive one, otherwise your socks are gonna look like that. So, it's gonna happen. So now he's gonna come back to this ball here. Just thin it out the line, do that little. So what he's doing, he's thinning it out. He's pushing the pigments to the side in order to make it thin. So basically it's going to look like a crack in the wood. And then he'll come back and soften that white area a little bit with the color. See, he feels pressure. He's not only he's on video and everybody's watching, but in reality, this will be like his third one that he's done. And he wasn't comfortable yesterday or today, but you can see how good of a job he's doing. It's a matter of practice, and look how cool that looks. Just gotta watch with the curves, not too much curves. And then all of a sudden, you're gonna take a little bit and soften that color in there. Either you can take espresso or Kodiak and soften where it's been a little bit white. There you go. That's it. Dude, that looks cool. Now take a little bit of Kodiak or Kaya. I would say Kodiak. And lightly soften that up in that area there. Noticing he's doing over the whole thing. That's okay to do. That's how you soften it up. You're adding color to that area. Nice. Just blend this guy a little bit that way. There you go. There you go. That becomes one of a kind. Look how cool the whole thing turned out. We're showing some of the techniques. This is some of the woodwork that we've done already. See that one right there? That got ragged, sponge ragged, so you can see how the wood comes out and it pops out. So here you got some, they're doing the final coat. Somebody else did the base, but now he's finishing with the espresso. So then you have here another person that's putting on the base coat. And everybody's got their own little different techniques, and that's what makes the wood look come different, especially when you swap them around. So here you got him doing the espresso, the final coat. So he's got his own technique. Everybody's got their own technique. So here you got this other guy. He's actually putting the base coat. Totally different technique. And then before you know it, you got different wood looks. See that one there that's got the veining all through the middle, nice and wide? It looks pretty cool. learn how to do some veining here, where we put some black marks, and what we'll do is we're going to drag the pigment. So right here, I went ahead and put some black. Now what I want to do is drag the pigment. What I want to do is just rub it, but I'm stretching. See how I'm stretching this color? See how far it's getting? Now I'm going to bring this one, I'm going to bring it up to this way. I want to brush it and make sure it's not straight. I want to stay within my board. And that's how we do those lines.